I mean, it's better today by a long way, because I was in a lot of trouble as a person back then, like a lot of trouble. Like I was addicted to drugs and alcohol, and I wasn't able to really follow my star then, because I was too out of it. And it's quite a strange position to be in, because back then there was like a record company, Parlophone, who were great, and they were always really lovely to me. There was a brilliant management team, there was like publishers, there was everything you need in place to kind of rocket your career forward, or whatever it is. And but in many ways I wasn't able to take advantage of any of those things, because I wasn't in a position to do so. I was so unhappy in myself. Whereas now, I'm much more content in myself. I've got a lot more belief in what I do. I'm much more focused on it. I wasn't focused on music when I was in Strangelove, really. Not really. I am now, it's my life, and I think I'm writing the best stuff I've ever written, but there's no real support actually behind it all, so it's strange, you know. It's like that can be frustrating in some ways, but I do have faith in the music that I'm making in a way, so it's definitely better now. I mean, it's just, anyone who's been through that will know what it's like when you are not in control of yourself, and you're not in control of your actions. You're not in control, you're being moved around by a power that's greater than you, which is your addiction. It's making you wake up in the morning, it's telling you what to do, and it tells you what to do all day until you fall asleep. You know, if you're lucky enough to get any sleep. So, yeah, there's no comparison. I know that my spirit was still alive then, but I wasn't really able to enjoy it. Yeah.
That's why your music sounds so free now.
Yeah. That, and the fact that I've practiced a lot. You know, I've practiced, so you need to be able to be free. You have to practice in a way to be able to express freedom. You need to not be thinking about where your fingers are going, or you know what I mean. So I've practiced, and I've taken it more seriously, because I believe in it more, and I value it more than I used to. I used to just make it up on the spur of the moment, really, in Strangelove. You know, right at the last minute sometimes in the studio, I just have to make the words up, you know, when we were recording the albums. Yeah. But the good thing about then is that any words that did get through were quite powerful, because there was so much inside me in the way of inspiration. I was still getting inspiration, but there was so much inside me in the way of it that only the really strong stuff could get through. You know? And that's the stuff in Strangelove that I really like. And some of it was just written on the surface, just you know, just maybe just about my own pain or something, but I kind of like just off the top, just like, okay, that's going on, I'll just write that down, you know.
Mm.
Yeah. Really confusing for the others in the band, you know. They were really, really talented and really ambitious, and everything was in place. You know, everything was in place for them, for their dreams to come true. And they just had a singer who was really unfocused. Yeah.
Do you feel bad about that?
No, not anymore. I did.
Mm.
I did. I don't anymore. I've made my peace with all of them, and I know that I could only do, I was doing the best that I could back then.
Mm.
The best that I could, and when you're addicted to things and you haven't got any self-esteem, it's really hard to be a singer in a band, actually. Whatever anyone says. Well, it was hard for me to be one, you know. Yeah. I can't say about anyone else, really. I can't make generalisations, but it was just hard for me to do it.
So in your day now, so we're now going to do like a Concorde flight through those 15 years to now.
Yeah.
And thank you for talking about that, by the way.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's the best explanation I've ever heard.
Yeah. It's easy for me to talk about that, actually.
Yeah.
I don't find it difficult at all. Yeah.
What kind of things do you look at that make you feel nice?
Well, I mean, I live in the centre of Bristol, and there's a river right near my house. The old river with the medieval walls built around it, and that's like a minute's walk from my house. There's loads of great architecture around there, old churches, and there's a presence around the centre that's really old. It's sort of lit underneath all the traffic noise and stuff. It's just there, and I really like that feeling. And that's, you know, and there's usually always something to do with music every day that I'm up and about doing, so that makes me feel great. Really happy about that. I'm either writing something new or I'm just polishing something I've got, and I experience myself getting better. I feel I can hear and feel how I'm better than I was a year ago, because I'm working at it, and that's a great feeling. And I can also hear when I'm singing and playing where it's going, that it can be better as well. And instead of that being a sort of overwhelming and frustrating feeling like it might once have been for me, I actually find that now really exciting. I know that, and I can just see I think that I will live till I'm old. I don't think I'm going to die. I think I'm going to live till an old man, and I just think that one day I'm going to be helped onto a stage, and I'm still going to be playing my songs, and I just know people are going to be saying that old guy is fucking amazing. Do you know what I mean? That guy has just blown my fucking mind. You know what I mean? And I know that's going to happen in a way. So it's just like working every day like that towards it. And
That's an amazing. Well, I mean, I agree with you, yeah, obviously, but also that's an amazing polarization of belief, isn't it? How did that happen? Because 15 years is not that long, as we know.
no.
How did that happen, that you went from lacking that intrinsic, well, fucking anything, to having that very important belief?
The key things were, I met a man who was called Raynard Jessen. He's dead now. He was Nick Cave's manager.
Right.
And he was very, very charismatic and inspiring. And he had recovery from drugs and alcohol. His son's in that band, the Palmer Violets. You know that new band? I just saw them in the
Yeah, they're fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that band. So I know his son really well. But he inspired me just by his presence and who he was to just... And because I looked up to him, I always liked Nick Cave, and it was like Nick Cave's manager showing me some kind of like interest felt cool, you know? I was lucky that it was him that sort of inspired me, you know? And I believed what he was saying. I believed in him, and he was just a great guy. And I just thought, yeah, I can do this another way, you know? And so he helped me get inspired to clean up, and that's what I did. And he also introduced me and helped me to meet loads of other people in that kind of way who've been through that. So I've got a network of people who understand me from where I'm coming from and what I've been through. So that's been invaluable. After Strange Love split up, I then went and lived on my own, really in a forest for about 2 years. that really helped me. I was like, because I'd once been somebody in Strangelove, when I went back to not being somebody anymore, it was quite weird. So I started off as a street busker. I was no one, you know, and then they came up to me and said, "You're going to be the singer in our band." Basically, that's what they did, and I said, "Okay." And then so I was a singer in that band, and then I became somebody in a way because of that. And then the band ended, and I went back to being no one again, you know. And I didn't have a clue about how to build a career or any of that. I just had no idea whatsoever. I can see that now, but I didn't know that then. I just thought someone else was going to come along, I suppose, and say, "Hey, you're going to be another singer in a different band," and that didn't happen, you know. And so when that didn't happen, it hurt my feelings in a way. You know what I mean? And I couldn't really handle being around people because they'd be saying, "What are you doing now?" And I was just saying, "Nothing really." And then I could see how in one way I'd gone up in people's estimation, do you know what I mean? I could see that, and I liked that. And then I could see I'd gone down in their estimation. I saw that I didn't like that, you know? And so I just kind of decided to get away from it all. Yeah, so I went and, I was in this forest, really. And I went in there every single day, and I walked around in there. And I just started to feel how it changed every day in there. Because it's different from being around concrete, which is solid. And most of the time we're with concrete and it's just reflecting back the same thing. But that place was just changing subtly every single day. And I started, just by being there all the time, I just started to be able to feel that. And then I realised that that feeling was connected with something that was going on inside me, and that there was something different every single day. And I started, through that relationship with that changing place, ever-changing place, to start to feel what was really going on inside me for the first time in my life. What was really, really happening. Not what my head was telling me, or what anyone was saying, you know. Just like, what is really happening. And that changed me. And at the end of that, I didn't know what was going to happen. I had no plans whatsoever. I still wrote songs through that period, but I wrote them for me, really. I didn't write them for anybody. I wrote them for me. I wouldn't have been able to tell you that at the time, but, you know, no one's really heard those songs. But they helped me through. They were just simple songs. And then a guy called Thomas Brooman, who was he was the head of WOMAD Festival. He'd started it with Peter Gabriel. He basically loved me, you know, like that was the only way. He loved me, and he really believed in my music, and he told me he wanted me to play at his festival. So I did. I went to this festival. I was on this songwriting panel with Midge Ure out of Visage, and we had to speak to this audience of people at WOMAD about songwriting. And then we had to play some songs, and it was the first gig I'd done in ages. And my perception was really. I mean, I was straight then. I've been straight for a few years, but my perception was completely haywire. I can't tell you whether what I perceived was true or not, really. But what I saw was that everybody really cheered Midge when he played, like, Dancing with Tears in My Eyes or whatever. And when I played my song, no one was interested, do you know what I mean? Which was some kind of song about a bloody tree or something, you know? Do you know what I mean? And that is what I perceive. I don't even know if that's true, but that's what I saw. No one's interested in what I want to do, and they all like Midge Dancing with Tears in My Eyes, you know? And that really hurt my feelings, you know? That really hurt my feelings. And but I'd learned enough from the people that I knew and from being in this forest that having my feelings hurt wasn't the most important thing in the world, and I needed to forget about that and just go and bloody get my mind onto something other than that. So that is what I did, and I thought I did the only thing I could do at that time, which was to go into this festival and start looking at the other artists, you know. Now, I'd never been interested in world music, really. You know, I'd got stoned and listened to people playing sitars, but that was about it, do you know what I mean? Like, that was as far as it went for me, and I thought that was great, but I wasn't interested in it. And I looked around it, and I wasn't digging it, really, most of it. And then I had this really strong intuition. They hold it at Reading in Rivermead. Had this really strong intuition. Go through that door. There was this door, and I went through this door, which was in the Rivermead Centre, and there was this woman. She was from Africa. Her name was Madacini. She was 81. She was playing a one-stringed instrument with a stick and singing songs that her grandmother had taught her. And I sort of like sat down in front of her. There was only about 20 people in the room, and she was amazing, and I just started crying and crying and crying when I saw her play. And I was still crying afterwards. And I was crying so much that I had to go and hide under some tarpaulin at the side of a marquee. There was just this tarpaulin, and I was just like, I'd lost it, you know, like when it's coming down out your nose. It was proper, like, it wasn't cool, you know. It wasn't like a nice looking single tear. It was proper, like. So I was under this tarpaulin for ages, for about an hour, just like sobbing my heart out. And I didn't know why. I know now. I think I know now, but I didn't know why then. I think what it was that I'd been on this. I started music with my friends. We used to smoke dope and have electric guitars and go like bow with the amps and just go like, fucking hell, wow, listen to that, and just like you just do that and everything just went away, didn't it? Like wicked, man, like wow, and we'd just be laughing, playing it, you know, just like it was amazing. And that's what I loved about music. And then I got in this band, and it was great and all that, but then I'd got into this other world, you know, like Radiohead have done all this, like you haven't done that, and like Blur are number 1, you're number 36, you know, do you know what I mean? And all that hurt my feelings as well. And I just got like, it all just went into me, and it was like a kind of race track going around of thoughts all about that. And society does say to us, you know, like, the only way you can sort out your weird feelings is to somehow get to the top of the pile and go like, I'm the fucking king of the castle, do you know what I mean? And I just thought, I'm never going to be able to do that, actually. I can't imagine myself pulling that off, so what the fuck's going to happen to me, you know? And that was really what my internal world was like. And then I saw her, and I just remembered, down. Do you know what I mean? Wow, down. Oh yeah. That music's like this trip, isn't it? It's just like this weird other world. And that's what it's about. Oh yeah. And she was the one who showed me that. And when I told Thomas like how much I'd just been blown away by this woman, he said to me, right, you're going to South Africa. So I went. 3 weeks after he said that, I was on a plane. He gave me the money, he sorted out money for me. And I went and I lived with this woman who couldn't speak English in the black township of Langa in Cape Town. And I wrote songs with her. And we went around the world and playing in Nomad festivals, playing this really weird music that we'd written together. Really strange, wow, with me just singing weird, like, stream of consciousness over the top of it.
Welcome back. Yeah, welcome back.